How a restaurant cook went from totally broke to flipping a $150,000 development deal. That's the topic of today's show. This is Todd Toback, and I want to welcome you to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. If this is your first time here and you are scratching and clawing to your first deal, very much like our guest today, I am so excited for today's show. You are going to love this. Or if you're trying to build your business to seven figures, I've got a gift for you. Go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. And my free gift to you is the actual script that we use in our business to lock up wholesale deals every single day of the week. My team and I have done over 1,300 deals in Southern California, Florida, and many other states. And our students have done these deals nationwide. So go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script to get that script and start doing deals today. More importantly, I want to welcome our guest today. His name is Glenn, and Glenn, man, has a phenomenal story. Started out working in a restaurant as a cook, working two jobs, didn't have two nickels to rub together, broke as a joke. I don't know if he was living in his mama's basement, but we're going to hear about that here in a second. And you won't believe how he got the money to market for his first deal. It's going to blow your socks off. He went from this to a development deal that's going to make him $150,000 in addition to doing wholesale deals month after month after month. So that being said, Glenn, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be here. It's such an honor to meet you. After all these years listening to your podcast, I'm finally here.
Oh, well, I love to hear the victory. And man, this is going to be a good one. So Glenn, tell us, I mean, you were working as a cook, right? I mean, obviously, I'm appreciative for everybody who works in a restaurant and serving the community, but financially, geez, tell us about what that was like and, you know, where you were and kind of what prompted you to go where you were from to jump into real estate.
Yes, sir. So back in 2018, I decided to move down to Miami from Jacksonville. No family, no friends, no money, just me. Didn't even have a car. I started riding a bicycle to work, got two jobs at two different restaurants. Only had about 30 minutes in between jobs. So I was working, nonstop. I married my wife. I met her in Miami. She's from Peru, doesn't speak English at all. I learned Spanish so that I could basically communicate with her. And we were just struggling. And so I was in the Marine Corps, and adapt and overcome has always been our motto. And so one day I was looking up, how I could get ahead or how I could start investing in real estate. I come across Jerry Norton's videos on, basically how to get started. And I recognized PropStream as a software that I needed. Well, I didn't have the money to pay for PropStream, even though it was only $100 for the month. I didn't have the money. So I went and I put.
By the way,
Facebook...
can I stop you really quick? By the way, so
yes,
for those of you who don't know what PropStream is, right? It's a data service where you can pull names from and data and get a list to call motivated sellers, right? We've talked about that on the show, by the way, and that's tax data or foreclosure data. You can find houses with liens. By the way, if you want to know more about that, you can go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/data. nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/data. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I went out on a limb and I created a Facebook fundraiser to buy PropStream for 1 month because I wanted to start my career in real estate investing. And after 2 days, I had two people that put $120 in, one of them being an old sergeant of mine in the Marine Corps. And within 2 weeks, after having PropStream, I found my very first deal. Had a high ARV, 200,000. It was listed at 45,000. I called the broker that had listed. It was a failed listing. Got it under contract for 45,000. Was ready to sell it to a buyer at 100. I needed a proof of funds. Had no clue about what that was. So I was networking on Facebook, looking for someone that could help me get the deal through. I found someone on there that could help me get it through. Well, little did I know he was just playing me. And long story short, about 4 months later, I found out that the guy closed the deal behind my back, made $65,000, and I never got paid. Um, I was looking for deals for him for about 3 months, just not seeing
So
nothing.
let's stop right there, right? So I mean, you had a phenomenal deal in your hands, right? I mean, you're counting your money.
Oh man, so
Right.
excited.
Right. And you got some obstacles in there. And by the way, a lot of the stuff we talk about, like a proof of funds, basically the realtor, who wanted the proof of funds, by the way?
The broker
Okay.
yeah.
So somehow there was a broker involved. And a lot of times you don't need proof of funds unless you're working with a broker who's asking for it. Just a little education for our audience today, right? But in this case, he sold it to somebody else. That's a real gut punch. I mean, how did you feel after you're a Marine, right? So, they train you, right, to deal with adversity and to adapt and to operate in not in ideal conditions, right? And if you get stranded in the middle of nowhere, how to get back home. But, tell us, how are you feeling then? Because now you're out of that structure. Because I've seen a lot of people in the military like thrive in the military, and now they get out, right? And they deal with some real life adversity, and they can't translate it the same way. But it seems like you did, right? So tell us, this was a big letdown, $65,000 you lost. What happened? I mean, how did you overcome that?
So, I mean, the first thing that I can tell you is devastation was what I felt.
Mm-hmm.
The complete devastation. I was ready to give up. I quit. I met the best person that I've met so far in my life, my business partner, at around that time, and I just blew him off. Wouldn't talk to him, wouldn't talk to nobody. I was just so scared that somebody was gonna take advantage of me again. And I had a friend of mine who he picked up your course, No Limit Sales System, and he had been seeing me taking a lot of action. I've been taking a lot of action, and he was like, Glenn, I'm gonna gift you this course. You need to look at this, and you need to study this. And this is gonna explode everything for you. It's gonna bring you up. And I refused to listen. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I was just devastated. Um, I even tried to sue my old partner. I went and I filed, a court case, hired an attorney, and I lost more money because I could never serve him, couldn't get him into court. So overall, that was around $85,000. That just was in and out of my hand. And so I was just devastated all the way, till about December of that year. Keep in mind, this was in June. December that year is whenever I finally decided, okay, let me start studying the No Limit Sales System, and let's see what can happen. You're right. Like, I am a Marine. They do train us how to adapt and overcome, and to face adversity. And so I knew that if I just kept pushing, I could get through it, but I needed some training. And so the No Limit Sales System basically saved me, because once I picked that up, once I really started digging into the strategies and the techniques and, the things that you teach, it started to really show me that, okay, this is really what I've been lacking anyways. So I needed to go ahead and learn. And so I started using it. And it was a struggle, like it still took me almost another year to actually close on my first deal. But it took everything that I learned in the No Limit Sales System to get that deal to the closing table. There were months, this guy, he was in pre-foreclosure, hadn't paid HOA fees in like 10 years, going through chemotherapy, sick, couldn't even get out of his chair. In Orlando, and I was down in Miami. And so for about 4 or 5 months, I just was talking to this guy about how he felt, really, asking him how he was doing with his chemotherapy, with cancer, like how he was feeling, just trying to make him feel good, not even talking to him about his house. And this went on from about March all the way up until about July, and he finally signed the contract. And I knew this was going to be a big deal. So we got it under contract, and then we ended up closing at the end of October. My partner and I made $22,000, and we closed that deal and got that guy. Like the effect of it on me is just such a profound thing, because this guy was in pre-foreclosure. He was about to lose his house. He hasn't paid HOA fees. He was looking at 2 different foreclosures. And he was going through probably the worst thing in his life, the worst part of his life, older guy in his 60s. I know that he probably felt like he was going to leave all that to his wife. And so for me, it was just such a big deal to try to get this taken care of for him. And he ended up walking away with money in his pocket, no more back HOA fees, no foreclosure, nothing on his record, new house. His wife, they all just could feel so much better about their life. And that right there, it really opened up everything for me. I stopped paying attention to money. I stopped caring about like whether or not I could make money on a deal. I kind of changed my attitude to the go-giver style attitude, where I could just, start helping people. And at that point, that's when everything started exploding. I got another deal the next month, which we're set to close on here in February. And then in December, I heard your podcast, Turn Up the Volume. If you're not getting enough deals, you need to turn up the volume. So I turned up the volume, called about 2,000 real estate agents one week, and I found this land deal. And once I found it, I've been learning over the past couple of years. So I kind of know where to go, and I found a builder. We originally had it set up as a creative finance deal where
slow down here. So just so this is a piece of, we talked a little bit before. So you called 2,000 agents, and then you found a piece of land.
Yes.
Right. A piece of land. So not a house.
Yes. This was a piece of land. It was 11 acres. So around 11 acres here in Jacksonville. I've dealt with vacant lots for a while, kind of go back. I kind of dabbled in wholesaling vacant lots, and I pretty much got scammed out of $32,000 on that. Long story short, seller claimed that he was married, had a marriage license certificate on a vacant lot. I got it under contract, had a buyer, got everything to title, went through the title search, found out that probate needed to happen.
Oh yeah, that's happened
before. What went down was he claimed that it was his wife, when in our reality it was his mother that was on the title. He had went to the courthouse and filed for a marriage license certificate.
By the way, is this the same deal? Is this the development deal? Or is this a different deal?
This was a vacant lot deal. This was my kind of like my second deal,
okay.
But it went bad. After that, I stopped messing with land until this past December, when I found this 11 and a half acres.
Okay. So let me go back. It sounds like, again, you had some adversities, right? That first deal you lost. It sounds like the second deal, there was a title problem, and those are gut punches, right? There are ways actually to get around that. And for anyone who's listening, when you open up title on a property, when you get something under contract, you want to send it over to title right away. Here's that little, tip for you. And your title people should be able to catch it like that. A good title company, or the lawyer or the escrow company who's ever using it. And by the way, if you have not, I've got another giveaway for you. Go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/title checklist. So Glenn, make sure you download that after the show, nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/title checklist, right? And that's for everyone who's listening to this. And that'll help title catch those things sooner, because if you get a deal and there's a problem with it and you find out early, it's way less devastating than if you find out like the day you're supposed to close.
Right. Right. Well, with that one in particular, the seller kind of led us on to believe one thing, and was really doing another thing.
Yeah.
And so I realized down in Miami, there's a lot of that type of stuff that goes on down there.
Yeah, Miami is that way.
Yes, sir. So I just kind of left it alone. Now, like I said, October, I did close finally on my first deal. I actually closed, and at the end of October, And then within a couple of days in December, 1 week, I reached out to almost 2,000 real estate agents, asking for deals, seeing if they had anything that I can make offers on.
Mhm.
So this land was brought to my attention. I noticed that inside of the listing that seller finance was an option that was available. Well, my partner is a creative finance, he's big time in creative finance. So I've kind of taken it, to that point to where now that's what I'm always looking for, right? So I seen seller finance as an option that was available. So I said, hey, let's make a seller finance, let's make a seller finance offer on this land. So we did, and they agreed to it. And so I went on the hunt for builders that were willing to partner with us and take us through the land development and all the way to building the houses. Never done that before. So it was my first time, actually doing something like that. And I found a builder that just through reaching out to realtors that sold brand new houses in the area, I found a realtor who was the builder, and they agreed that to want to take it through the entitlement process and the horizontal development and the vertical development with us. It kind of changed up a little bit from a seller finance deal to just being a cash deal because they agreed to move forward, and they put $10,000 in escrow on top of what we already had, which wasn't much, $500. And so now we're set to close. It's going to be a little while. We're set to close by the end of this year because we have to do a zoning change, but it's good to go. And so now, I was thinking that it was only going to be 8 to 10 houses, and turns out it's going to be 32 houses that they're going to be able to build, 32 lots. So that's the biggest deal that I have going on right now. And besides that, I have managed to come up with I got about 6 wholesale deals going on right now. One of them is a brewer method innovation that we're set to close on and hopefully be done with by the end of February.
Okay, so let me tell everyone what that is, by the way. Anyone who doesn't know what a novation agreement is, it's basically when you get a property under contract and you sell it directly to a retail buyer, someone who's going to get a loan. But what you do is you actually put the buyer and the seller together, right? So they do a new contract together right after you originally signed the new contract, and they basically pay you to go away, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So awesome. So that was one of your wholesale deals. So I like it, man. You got some big deals brewing. So that was the brewer method, brewing. That was the first deal. What else you got in the pipeline here?
So I have a seller right now that we're under contract. It's looking like it's most likely going to be another brewer method innovation.
Okay.
She's in pre-foreclosure, hasn't been in the house in 3 years, don't even have a key. She doesn't even have a key to the house. And we're getting it. She's not asking for any money. Of course, we're going to pay her some money on top of what she owes, but she's giving it to us at what she owes, which is at $75,000, and we're getting ready to put it on the market at $120,000.
Oh, juicy! Right, yeah. That's about what $45,000.
Yes, sir.
Nice, great job. I tell you what, you're starting out on the right foot, right? A lot of people that get caught up in these $4, $5, $7, $10,000 deals, forget about that, right? You want to go for big, juicy, fat, profitable, bank account busting size deals, and you are on the right track. That is so exciting.
Yes, sir. The one thing about the very first deal I did that went south is it still gave me that solidifying thought in my head that this business is real, that I can do this, that it doesn't matter, what people try to say or what adversity you're going to face. If you just keep pushing, you're going to make it. And listening to the No Limit sales system, like following the techniques, it's really put me in a position to be really successful. I've used a couple of your ninja tricks that you have on one of your podcasts.
Let's talk about the favorite one. That's one I always like to ask. So what's your favorite ninja trick or sales system technique that you like to use?
Yes, sir. So my favorite one is it's a ninja trick, and it's for when sellers or really anybody ghost you. There's a message, and it's Hey, Mr. Seller, it looks like you're not interested in selling anymore. Is it something that I did or said or that you just don't like about me? And I use that and it works like a charm. Every time that I've ever used that, doesn't matter how many times like I've tried to reach out before, they always respond back to me with that one ninja trick
Oh, that's
of
awesome.
yours.
Well, thank you
So
for sharing it. You know, obviously we create the course, but we love it, love it, love it when people are doing deals with it. I tell you what, you sound like you've got a really, really bright future ahead of you. Keep doing those big deals. And if people want to reach out to you in your local market, right? They want to joint venture with you, and you don't have to give out your information. But if you feel like it's a benefit to you and you want to do deals with people locally in Jacksonville or Orlando, how can they get a hold of you?
So there's a few different ways. I mean, I'm on Facebook. You can just look me up, Glenn Bennett on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram as Big Investor 00, on Instagram at Big Investor 00. My email also Big Investor at gmail.com. That's probably the three top ways that you can get a hold of me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Glenn, thank you so much for being on the show. It has been a blast. I tell you what, if you're listening to this should be an inspiration, right? You got no excuse. Glenn was a cook in a restaurant, had 2 jobs, on his bike, didn't have enough money for data, did a fundraiser on Facebook, $120 to get his first data. His first deal got stolen from him. His second deal sounds like it got stolen from him. Doing huge wholesale deals now. He's got $150,000 under contract, and he's renamed himself Big Investor 00. So what else can you ask for? So thank you so much, Glenn, for being on the show. Remember, if you have not downloaded the script, go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. Download the script, start doing deals, and I will talk to you on the next episode.